Guys, I'm going to bring you back to 2019. We are going to travel in time and I'm going to show some news articles right here that have happened, which we basically see a replication from right now. So it gives you a little bit a perspective of how the market works in terms of psychology and how you are basically being manipulated. Okay, guys, let's jump just straight into it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Of course, if you like these videos, make sure to leave a thumbs up, guys. We really need the engagement now because we really need to get picked up by the algorithm on YouTube. But what we basically seen in 2019 when we had this mini bull market, like the first half of 2019, there were a lot of rumors going on right here. And guys, the main rumor right here in 2019 was the launch of Bitcoin backed futures. And this was quite new because a lot of people were saying like, yes, these futures are finally a way for institutions to invest in a Bitcoin, and the futures has to be backed by Bitcoin. That's why whenever these institutions are going to invest in this futures contract, these futures need to be backed by real Bitcoin. So real Bitcoin is being bought, which will drive the price up. And I don't know if you were active in 2019 in the crypto space, but I definitely was. I was actually just starting this YouTube channel. And if we go to have a look at some news articles, then we can see right here that company was named Bakkt. Maybe you can remember. And they say here to roll out its first Bitcoin futures testing in July 2019. And this was basically the rumor. So this thing was published on, where can we see that? At May 13, 2019. So we already had like some rumors going on earlier in 2018. But this news article, which is back then for that time was actually very bullish, was at May 13, 2019. If we have a look at the Bitcoin price and we have a look at May 13, 2019, that was right here. And what we are seeing right here, guys, is that Bitcoin was right here already close to the top when that rumor was announced, right? When they were talking about July rolling out. And July actually marks the top in the Bitcoin price as well, when they should have rolled out the first Bitcoin futures backed by Bitcoin, which were available for institutional investors. But this really explains how the market psychology works. And I've talked about this in multiple videos. You gotta view the markets as this. So let's say we have 100 people in the market, right? We got 100 people in the market. And that's the total amount of people in the markets with buyers and sellers, right? In this bottoming range right here, most likely there will only be 20 people of that 100 people that are invested in Bitcoin. It's just a very low amount because those are the true hodlers. Those are the people that are really believing in Bitcoin. They didn't sell, they created the bottom, right? And then when Bitcoin breaks out right here, you might get 10 more people coming in. So we might have 30 people in the markets. Then Bitcoin goes higher right here, bull flag breaks up, people getting bullish, more and more news is coming. We got 50 people, maybe even 60 people. I'm sorry for my writing, guys, maybe even 60 people of the market participants, which is 60%, right, are in the markets. Then right here you get the back news and people are even like freaking out. Oh my god, this is so bullish. And then we come to maybe 80% of the people are invested in Bitcoin, which is then the top. Because if 80% of the people are positioned in Bitcoin, what will happen? It means that the majority of the people are buyers and are already settled in Bitcoin, which means that if we want to drive the price up, we only got 20 buyers left of that 100%. Right? So what happens is the market reaches a tipping point sooner or later where it will roll over, and then the same thing happens what we had right here to the top will happen to the downside. So now we got 80% buyers, 20% sellers, and suddenly when Bitcoin crashes down, you got already some smart people saying like, this doesn't look good, this looks like a top. So then you have already like 70 buyers and 30 sellers, right? And then it goes down, 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 people capitulate, and suddenly you got 50, maybe you got right here 50-50, right? 50% buyers, 50% sellers. It goes up, maybe change a little bit. Then we get this huge capitulation, and then we get the opposite. Then we suddenly have 80% sellers because most people sell at the bottom, and 20% buyers, which brings us to the same metrics where we were at the beginning, right here at the Bitcoin low. And of course, because of these swings and waves, we do get new investors. So people are getting interested coming into the markets, but they don't have even knowledge at all because they just entered the markets. I'm already like for 6-7 years in these markets, and it's completely difficult to time when to buy and sell, right? So it's already difficult for people with 20 years of market experience to fight these emotional states of the markets, let alone one guy who just entered, right? So this is basically a little bit how it works. And what we are seeing right now, or actually what we have seen back then in 2019, is that Bakkt finally launched the Bitcoin futures, which, guys, back then was one of the most bullish news articles that was present in the markets. And I can tell you that because I was there, everyone was talking about this Bitcoin futures that was coming, which was backed by real Bitcoin. That was the story. Backed by real Bitcoin institutions. They had to buy the Bitcoin. They had to scoop it off from exchanges for all of these contracts. But when it got launched in September 2019, that was the moment we actually broke down. And the reason why that makes sense, and I hope this makes sense to you as well, but the reason why this makes sense is because the anticipation on such an event is for the price way more important than the actual event. Why are investors investing in a certain thing? Why are you investing in altcoins? Most of these altcoins don't even have a project. They are not even done with anything, but it is the anticipation too. So that's why the anticipation on these things drives the price up, but the actual launch of these things makes the market like the 80-20. When the launch is, everyone is already aware of that bullish news, everyone already positioned, which means that the majority are buyers, small amount of sellers, so the buyers can transition to sellers, which is the dangerous thing. That marks often the top. So that's why you got to be really careful right here, because we have the same news right now. We have the same news with the Bitcoin spot ETF. Everyone talks about how bullish a Bitcoin spot ETF is, and I would really argue, guys, the launch of the Bitcoin spot ETF is going to be so bearish for Bitcoin. And that is not because why institutions buy Bitcoin cannot drive the price up. Of course, that is possible. But institutions are way already positioned themselves before the Bitcoin ETF will be launched. That Bitcoin ETF most likely will be a sell the news event. That is definitely what I'm thinking, because we've seen this just so many times, right? Same as the launch of the CME futures was the exact top of this bull market. I made a separate video about that, if you can remember that. But the CME futures right here got launched on December 2017, which marked the exact top of the Bitcoin price. But back then, the story was like, whoa, the CME futures, institutional investors, once this launch, Bitcoin will go 100% to $100,000. But this really explains how the market works, right? It's really about market psychology and knowing, like feeling, where are we in the market right now. So I will stick to the point that I think the launch of a Bitcoin ETF will be a bearish event, most likely a sell the news event. Doesn't have to be on the day, but as you can see right here, September 2019, we just went down, and we haven't surpassed that level until until almost 1 year later. So it took roughly 1 year for Bitcoin to finish that correction of that bullish anticipation to really decisive break that level again, and then head into this bull market. I'm not saying that in terms of time we have to do something similar right now. I'm just saying that you got to be careful when you hear all these bullish stories about Bitcoin ETF and that you got to be a little bit more careful, and that we have to look at the historical Bitcoin events and the news and all of these implementations of potential institutional investors and all of these financial products like a futures, like a ETF, a Bitcoin backed contracts, anything. Okay, so yeah guys, this is just what I wanted to share with you. Hope this gives a little bit clarity into the market psychology. If you like this, make sure to drop your like down below. And guys, it's very important that you share this video with your friends so they also can understand that where they are in the market psychology and how the market psychology actually influenced them, because you are a part of that 100. What I just showed you, you are a part of that, I'm a part of that. So therefore it can be really helpful when you analyze your own emotions, right? Or when you analyze the sentiment over on Twitter, because this can really tell you like, okay, I'm seeing right now so many people being bullish, everyone is bullish, and this news and that news and blah blah blah, which can make you then a little bit more cautious. Also the opposite direction, of course. If everyone is extremely bearish, you also got to be a little bit cautious. Like, hey, if everyone right now is bearish, they already sold, where are we in the market, right? Could all those sellers be turned into buyers? What is happening, right? So these are just things you got to take into consideration. And I think that the launch of the Bitcoin ETF will definitely, most likely, be a very bearish sell the news event. And I don't expect, this is real pure speculation from my side, I actually expect that Bitcoin ETF will be delayed. It will be delayed, and that it will mark the next bull market top. Same as the CME futures right here also marked the bull market top in 2017. It would make a lot of sense for me. Nevertheless, that's pure speculation. We'll have to see on that specific moment, whatever happens, where is Bitcoin trading, how far are we in the 16-year cycle, which date are we, how high is Bitcoin trading, what are we seeing in the funding rates, derivatives exchange data. We got to include all those data. But if we do get the launch of the Bitcoin ETF in the news, I'm definitely going to scan all of the data, and when I see a warning signal, when we lose some support, I will get out of the markets and wait for that correction, because I know that everyone is aware of this and that everyone positioned themselves accordingly, and that we probably have that 80-20 division in the markets. Guys, I want to thank you all for watching. Like I said, if you learned something, drop a like, subscribe down below, hit the bell icon, stay connected with me during this bull market, and I wish you all a beautiful day, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video.